important to understand what the 5G is doing and what they say it's doing. We're told on the IEEE beamforming document that this technology cooked your eyes like eggs in World War II. And you all need to understand these are military weapons. These are assault frequencies. If you garner nothing more than that, that's what you need to know. It's microwave radiation warfare. This is what this is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the National Press Club Federal Communications Commission Chairman Tom Wheeler.
It's an honor to be here at the National Press Club. The first generation wireless, 1G, was voice. The second generation, 2G, allowed both talk and text. Third generation, 3G, the internet, in a limited way. And today's technology, 4G, completed that digital migration. But if anyone tells you that they know the details of what 5G is going to become, run the other way.
I have to tell people 5G is a killer. I'm Mark Steele, anybody who hasn't heard me. I'm a weapons systems head-up display expert, one of the leading experts in the world. I've actually brought cover in relation to this, and the reason I became an expert was to invent them. What I'm going to say to you today, do not believe a single word I say. Not one. I want you to do your own research. You'll find it's absolutely terrifying. Phased array is basically radar off the battlefield. It is extremely good at identifying targets and being able to lock onto targets. And not only that, it can specifically target you as an individual. So any judge sitting on an interesting case, let's say, any lawyer, any barrister, anybody doing any work that is potentially controversial, your life could be at threat.
Well, I joined the Royal Navy in 1960, and I specialised in microwave warfare. Radar, obviously, which uses microwave, but they don't just teach you radar, they teach you all about microwaves and other uses. So I understood about microwave warfare and how it can damage people, how it can harm people. Microwaves then were used as weapons, as they are today. It is a perfect stealth weapon, and when governments don't like a group of people, for instance, the ladies who protest at Greenham Common in England about the American missile base they camped, they were microwaved. We microwaved Catholics in Northern Ireland to make them sick. It goes on all over the world. And it's a weapon that you don't know you're being targeted because the dose is very, very low, which is actually more dangerous.
Yes, 5G will connect the Internet of everything. If something can be connected, it will be connected in a 5G world. Hundreds of billions of microchips connected in products from pill bottles to plant waterers, requiring massive deployment of small cells. We won't wait for the standards. We must reject the notion that the 5G future will be the sole provenance of urban areas. The 5G revolution will touch all corners, and that's damn important. The interconnected world of the future will be the result of decisions we must make today.
I'm Sharon Goldberg. I'm an internal medicine physician. I've practiced medicine for 21 years, and my background is mostly academic, internal medicine, hospital-based, clinical research, and medical education.
The effects of wireless on health scientifically are very, very clear.
So it's always pushed back to the definition of an acceptable level of radiation. And that's what this is, by the way. This is about radiation.
Wireless radiation has biological effects, period.
My name is Dr. Angie Kolbeck. I've been reviewing the studies showing the impacts of wireless radiation on our health, and there are now thousands of studies showing the following adverse health impacts to wireless radiation: cancer, oxidative damage, DNA damage, DNA failure.
Things like memory, dizziness, anxiety, brain fog.
Headaches, nosebleeds, cognitive problem, exhaustion.
We have evidence of DNA damage, cardiomyopathy, which is the precursor of congestive heart failure,
Disrupted immune function and change in stress proteins, reproductive and fertility effects.
There are dozens and dozens of studies that show beyond any doubt what this radiation is doing to our sperm.
We are seeing increases in brain tumors. We're seeing increases in Alzheimer's. We're seeing increases in all of the neurotransmitter diseases, ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, Parkinson's. These are all disease systems that are known to be associated with low-level energy exposures.
This is no longer a subject for debate when you look at PubMed and the peer-reviewed literature. These effects are seen in all life forms: plants, animals, insects, microbes. So 5G is not a conversation about whether or not these biological effects exist. They clearly do.
There is scientifically evidence that is so strong that you can be certain that the standards used by the FCC to manage health effects are wrong.
We need to start measuring how much radiation are people being exposed to before we roll out 5G. There are 4 kinds of electromagnetic fields that we know are harmful to human health. So radio frequency radiation, magnetic fields, dirty electricity, and electric fields. Okay? Our exposure, any given person, and all humans are affected by EMFs. What is our exposure in a day? It's not one cell phone. It's cell phones, it's multiple wireless networks, it's smart meters, it's cell towers. It's this sandwich, and it all adds up.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for having this hearing. 5G, as you well know, also uses higher frequency waves that don't travel as far and will rely on a network of hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of small cell sites. And the question then is, are there any health implications, any public safety implication to those additional sites that are likely to be located close to homes, schools, workplaces, and closer to the ground? Correct?
Correct, Senator. Yes.
So my question for you, particularly Mr. Gillen and Mr. Berry, how much money has the industry committed to supporting additional independent research? I stress independent research. Is that independent research ongoing? Has any been completed? Where can consumers look for it? And we're talking about research on the biological effects of this new technology.
Thank you, Senator. I think, thank you for your focus on the issue. Safety is paramount, and as you alluded to, we rely on the expert agencies, we rely on the findings of the FDA and others as to the requirements to keep all of us safe. There are no industry-backed studies, to my knowledge, right now. Happy to visit with you as to what opportunities you think there needs to be more studies, and we're always for more science. We also rely on what the scientists tell us.
So essentially, the answer to my question, how much money? Zero.
I can certainly follow up with you, Senator. To my knowledge, there's no active studies being backed by industry today.
Anybody else know of industry commitments to back research, fund it, support it, to ascertain scientifically the health effect?
No, I'm not aware of
So there really is no research ongoing. We're kind of flying blind here, so far as health and safety is concerned. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And it gets worse than that. The LED 5G street lighting dangers. It's a weaponized design, and it's here to inflict bodily harm. Right? And that's the reason why we've got this hoax virus to cover up this particular crime. This is the most important video you're ever going to see. So what I'm going to tell people, you must share this. This is an indictable crime. We've had a paradigm shift in product development where this equipment's been brought into smart cities, the smart city agenda, the UN resilient cities agenda. This will kill en masse large proportions of the population if it's not stopped, and stopped now. We've got weapons, systems, capability being deployed on civvy streets. This is uninsurable, an uninsurable liability. All local authorities, councils have to carry public liability insurance. They do not carry any. And when people are questioning them about this, they're being given the runaround by public servants who are acting illegally, misconduct in a public office, and a number of these agencies carries with it a life sentence. And because of this genocidal plot, I'm pushing for that. And it's the reason why the pushback is the hoax corona takedown, because the number of court cases that we're going to be launching this year, and quite a number, and the reason why they've shut the courts. For those that don't understand the electromagnetic radiation spectrum, here it is. You'll see this piece here, weapons due an EMP in this part of the spectrum. They're in that part of the spectrum because it can travel through concrete brickwork, and basically there's no way from getting away from it. All right. Now, some clown will tell you there's none of energy in this part of the spectrum. It's a fake. Light radiation, laser, everybody knows lasers in this part of the spectrum, non-ionizing spectrum, can actually cut stainless steel. Consequently, it's the energy, how you collimate it in this particular part of the spectrum, that actually causes the danger. However, whenever these scientists mention this particular spectrum, they'll talk about the natural occurring electromagnetic radiation spectrum and not talk about the man-made radiation spectrum. And the reason why the weapon systems in this particular part of the spectrum, the sub-gigahertz to 10 gigahertz range, it is accumulative. The microwave radiation in this spectrum is accumulative and causes danger over time. This is a 560 nanometers frequency light radiation. The reason why they use that is because it's not as biologically active as some of the others. These are from screens where they're focused down onto this guy's retina, and the reason why it's a 560 nanometers I'm going to show you. Here's blue light. This is the retinal cell death. You've got nearly 80% of retinal cell death exposed to this blue radiation here. That's a 450 nanometers, pretty toxic. It's in the terahertz range 666. Speculate that how you like. However, you've got 2.5 electron volts energy in a photon in this frequency range. Causes significant retinal cell death. So it's not safe. All right. That's the reason why, if you look at the green here, you'll see there's not a great deal of cell death. And that's the reason why that weapon sight system operates in the green. Quite an interesting project this. Is full spectrum, obviously. So that's pretty hazardous. But also, you'll see some of this delamination here. What I'm saying to people is share this. Can you imagine having this full spectrum pulse modulated light just directed on the back of your eye? Unbelievable. These are untested, unregulated, what are called by the industry killer technologies. They actually call them killer technologies. I would wonder why. Bit bizarre that. Latest $24 million national toxicology program. This shows right ventricle cardiomyopathy. This is at 1.6 watts per kilo. This is laboratory testing, and it shows significant DNA and heart damage. It's heart cancer caused by this type of radiation. So anybody telling you that this microwave radiation is safe, it is a lie. It's a fabrication. As you heard the scientists before, the jury's out on this, right? it is conclusive. We've got conclusive evidence of the dangers. So only a clown or somebody corrupted to the fact where they're trying to stick with the cabal's narrative that this stuff's safe. Most certainly isn't. Here we have the 450 nanometers frequency lights. That glare's illegal, by the way, so there's no diffuser on this. These are coherent lenses, basically classed as lasers in low. But what they are, states quite clearly there, this is a straight lamp, risk group 2. All right, this is the reason why you've got this high spike in blue radiation here in the 450 nanometers, extremely toxic. And so toxic, you've got AMA, ANSI, SHARE, PHE, all stating that this is dangerous. So why is your councils deploying this equipment on your streets with no insurance, in breach of the law, a dangerous piece of equipment? I'm going to tell you, because it's a weapon system. And the weapon system, my definition of a weapon is something that's been designed to cause bodily harm. These have been designed to cause bodily harm, as you can see. Risk group 2, blue light radiance, 0.25 a second. So how do you escape from that? They've just put it into your streets. It causes significant skin and eye damage and causes a number of other biological damaging effects. So that's a risk group 2. That's what it's telling you. That's the standard. So how come your councils put that in your streets? This is a SAR value, 1.6 watts per kilo. So you see these anywhere near your body are significantly increased. And this is a recent court case, class action. How that's going to go forward if they start shutting the court system. I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons why they want to shut down the courts. They don't want this evidence end up in a court in relation to class actions, etc. And this is across the world. So hopefully we'll see something going forward in relation to this. These are uncontested scientific papers which show advanced macular degeneration, reactive oxygen species, and eye damage. And this is especially to our children. They've got a clear lens. Consequently, they're more at risk from this. Science is pretty clear. It's unbelievable what's going on. And I totally get that. Here's some more imagery. Here's some damage in the retina. Look. Unbelievable. How are they getting away with this? This is the thing that you have to ask yourself the question. Because people keep saying to me, well, where's the science? Well, the science is here. It's pretty obvious. Here's the lethal effects. Short wavelengths on blue light kills, insects. That's your pollinators. So we've got an ecological disaster going on in parts of the country and the world. Everybody's noticed that there isn't any insects about. What they're going to blame? Global warming, CO2. It'll be some of that fake, fabricated mainstream media or a bunch of criminals. None of them are covering this as a matter of fact of what's really going on and are just doing as they're told. And like I said, ignorance and doing as you're told today is going to get you dead. This was Gated Council taking me to court. I'm a conspiracy theorist, all right. What I am, I'm telling people about the conspiracy to cause harm by these local authorities on the people from these illegal pieces of technology. Unfortunately for the council in this instance, the judge said I was an expert, not a conspiracy theorist at all, obviously. This is just a total fabrication, a forgery that was entered into the court. And obviously they fabricated quite a bit of evidence to try and gag me. However, it didn't work. More information. Public Health England warn about these LEDs here on the left. You've got this study from Exeter. The Secretary of State has a duty to protect the population from non-ionising radiation. It states quite clearly there. He's not doing that, is he? They're in breach of the Social Care Act. They've broken just about every single law to roll this dangerous technology out on your streets. Unbelievable. North East was a test bed for 5G. We know that that's illegal, by the way. It's an experimental trial. Nuremberg Code prohibits that. That would be a crime against humanity, which we know it is. So let's just, let's just step this on. Scientists, the science is absolutely damning. And all we've got is we've got ignorant people in these organisations saying that this is just all made up. 2.4 gigahertz causes diabetes, so we've got a diabetes epidemic. The medical community haven't got a clue. They're just trying to scratch around, trying to find out why that's happened. Well, I can show you. It's your Wi-Fi in your home. Some of the radiation levels in Gateshead, in bedrooms in Gateshead, totally toxic, unbelievable. We've got the exposure bloods to smart meters. This one on the right is the one I'm really interested in because that causes relay. And we'll see that's what happens to children. So we've got children being assaulted in the Gateshead area. This is a child from Gateshead. There's another child here from Gateshead. These are people in Singapore where they were getting eye and nosebleeds and said it was diesel cars and pollution. Well, at the height of the pollution epidemic in London, nobody was bleeding from the nose or their eyes. So unbelievable how the mainstream media are trying to lie to the population about this particular issue and what the real cause is, which we know is microwave radiation pollution. Highest mortality, unexplained infant mortality rates in the northeast. Well, I'm not surprised at all because obviously we know that the radiation causes infant mortality and it shows you quite clearly there. All right, so the science is there. We've got the epidemiological data showing this. So we've got the highest infant mortality. And once again, we've got the mainstream media running for the hills and basically just fabricating the evidence, a bit like the BBC and the paedophiles that run it. We've got councils who open up their own funeral directors, obviously to profit on the increase in deaths. And yeah, you see, we've got increased illness here. We've got massive stroke increase in the area. 23% increase that was. This is the science. This is public health England. Now, I wouldn't trust public health England if I could throw a brick at them today because obviously you cannot rely on anything they come out with because they know that people have actually checked this out and have realised that something very untoward's going on. These people are even pushing it. Public Health England, a captured agency like the ICNIRP. Here's some of the weapon systems here. It's all illegal equipment, all collimated focus signals, scanning, radar, multifunction radar technology. That's what this is. All right. Totally illegal, totally dangerous. And obviously the LED streetlights, blue phosphor coating, that coating comes off over time so they become more and more toxic. I mean, look at this. No diffusers on these, causing retinal cell stress and blindness in the community. This is what the radar can see. And obviously you can scan this, you can see this in your pocket. They can actually listen to you, by the way. So they can hear you, they can listen to you, they can see you. There's nowhere you can hide, especially from the sub-gigahertz because it travels through the brickwork at ease. Here's some of the weaponry. This is some technology, 3,300 watts in there. This is a light sensor, by the way. This normal one, 10 volts. These capacitors, these are 450 volts. That's a 450 volt capacitor. And this obscured antenna here is part of a weapons system. That's why it was obscured when this document was sent to the FCC. So they didn't actually get to see this product and they just rubber stamped this weapon. And that's it there. See the little bit on the end? That's called a DEW. It's direct energy weapon. It's a dielectric lens printed on the end of this antenna, which allows you to focus the frequency like a direct energy weapon. All right, so that's exactly what that is. And it operates in the sub-gigahertz. It's in the sweet spot for the weapon systems. That's it there on the top of the street light. See it firing a signal at a car. Well, if it fires that signal at you like it did at these pigs, to shoot them, it actually states there quite clearly. See that? Shoots rays. Atom systems that shoot rays. Shoot rays, all right. So let's just go and show you a little bit more. These are LiDAR systems on the top of vehicles. Extremely dangerous. Laser Misuse Act. Can you imagine shining one of them in somebody's eyes? They wouldn't even know because it operates a non-visible spectrum. Laser Misuse Act, it most certainly is a laser even though you can't see it, and will actually blind people. Anybody getting in front of one of these with a car, you've got 3 mirrors that this laser will point into and they're directed at your eyes. You've got a climate emergency declared in Gateshead. That declaring these climate emergencies all over, it's all fake. So you've got fake councils running a fake CO2 agenda. Obviously these people are pretty dim and forcing people electric vehicles. They haven't been tested to be safe for any more than 30 minutes. So God help these taxi drivers in London. You wouldn't live under one of these, would you? So why would you drive one of these? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Electric cars are pretty toxic, and especially to children. Here we've got I want to just show people this little video clip here. Just watch this for a minute. That's hydrogen fluoride being poured out there. 30 parts per million, it'll kill you. Not only that, you've got cobalt, you've got the lithium cobalt batteries. All those firemen getting out there all at risk to their future. Alright, because the travellers haven't got protective clothing and breathing apparatus. Not like this guy down here. This French guy, he's got breathing equipment on. Here we have a fire at an electrical station. They're rushing this technology. I mean, look at this. Underwater. Can you imagine on a motorway trying to charge your vehicle there? So they're rushing this technology. It's totally toxic. You've got the runoff emission. They can't put them out. Totally toxic. This is untested, unregulated technology and actually a crime. This is what we're seeing here. Untested, unregulated criminal enterprise bringing these technologies to market. If you think about running off to the countryside, think again, they're going to build 400,000. As Wheeler said, every part of the country is going to be touched by this because they want to kill everything in every part of the country. They can't leave anywhere out. They don't want anywhere to be safe. They want to just be able to touch everywhere. This is the beamforming characteristics from a 5G transmitter. Beamforming radar, that's what that is. Illegal beamforming radar. Here's a bit of beamforming. Mammoth. During the war, so people have to understand 5G's been about for a very, very long time, because one of the technical parameters for 5G, the ability to collimate a signal like this. There's the antennas. It's a pretty powerful piece of kit. And obviously you've got one of the defence contract companies say, look, unparalleled innovation and performance to the 5G field, because it's a weapon system. They've been developing for quite a number of years. Here it is on the battlefield. He doesn't look very good, does he? Yeah, that's quite an interesting image. And this is a target acquiring, and you can shoot somebody there in the battlefield using this equipment. Saying it's non-lethal is an absolute load of garbage. These are lethal directed energy weapon systems. You can see by his face. Lots of published science shows that this should be a classified IERC Group 1. And obviously we've got the Americans who set up the Defence Task Force in 2018 on some of the information that they'd received in relation to the smart city threat. Here we've got countries, Italy. Obviously we've just heard about the serious issues in Italy because of the 5G. Well, these are cutting the trees down so the 5G signal can travel. It can obviously act as an EMP. If they take the trees down, the EMP, if they want to fire one, and obviously we've got the local police protecting these criminals chopping down your trees. That's pretty interesting. So you've got an urban environmental crime going on, and your police are actually protecting the criminals who are actually chopping these trees down and are part of this whole agenda. I mean, obviously they just don't know. They just do as they're told. Like I said before, doing as you're told these days will get you dead. This is a 5G city deployment of beamforming radar in Glasgow. That's Sauchiehall Street there at the top. You can see it, all right? Go on till, so everybody knows this is Glasgow. That'll kill everybody in the area. All right, this is the plan to kill everybody in the area. The radiation levels are significant where they charge the air. They're basically gas. You charge air 10 electron volts, 33 electron volts. And the ICNIRP guidelines, that's 61.4. It's now, they've just raised it to 120 electron volts in air. So 120 EV. So that's definitely going to kill everybody there. Oh, let's talk about the corona. So corona is the emission from one of these transmitters, by the way. And obviously we know Wuhan was the first established area for 5G. So I've got no doubt it's an immune system suppressor. So why wouldn't it, there you go, suppresses immunity. This is the science, by the way. And this is a corona. This is an actual corona. See that? So we are helping to fight the coronavirus with the corona in the area. All a bit bizarre. I don't do coincidences, by the way. This is the 5G vision. It's a weapon. 5G is a weapon system. It is not for telecommunications. The densification here will kill. Smart, we all know what SMART stands for. You should do if you want to look into it. Nobody's done any multiplication data. They're breaching the building code violations. There's vibration. There's fatiguing of the buildings. And obviously in this one, they haven't fitted the smart meter, which is pretty bizarre because smart meters are part of the 5G vision. But here's the reason why. They've got a bit of a bad name. And they should have a bad name because they can set fire to your house. Power density emits massive. This is the capacity inside a smart meter. Significant fire risk. An illegal design. A rushed illegal design. But it's not here for to check on your equipment in your home. It's here to kill you. This was very controversial, but what I'm going to show you, see that there, 868 in there, acts as a dielectric. So obviously this sort of fire is to be expected. Ferocity of fires, because obviously you've just charged the whole building up with energy. So when you actually get a fire, then obviously you're going to start to see fires like that. I'm just rushing through this. This is South Korea, by the way. They had quite a few number of fires when they switched the 5G on Friday, April the 5th, 2019. They had 5 fires. Once again, not a coincidence, I'm pretty sure. But this one here has a bit of a smoking gun of an image. Killer heat in the United States. So they've already identified increasing the temperature in cityscapes. So why would you increase the temperature by deploying 5G? Why would they cause flu-like symptoms in a cityscape by deploying 5G? All a bit bizarre, but obviously not when you understand that the real point of 5G is a weapon. US Air Force weather for modification. So weather modification weapons have been around for quite a number of years now. You see this year, 2005, 225. And this one here, artificial weather. Look at that. Artificial weather is going to come into its own by about 225. Well, we'll already see it. Australia. So you see the fires in Australia. Massive fire risk, increasing the temperature in an area, burning down the place. And that's probably one of their plans. Some of the equipment. So you've got this as HARP. You've got the weather modification of these where they actually change the laminar flow, but they also mix up the nanoparticulates in air. It's all integrated. This is all part of a weapon system that's inside a plane. Unbelievable. I mean, I wish I had more time, but I'm trying to keep this down to as short a period as possible. But go and look into these things. This is some reactors that are hanging on telegraph poles in the US. You can see that they're molecular reactors. I can tell just by the design because I invented one. Pretty interesting piece of equipment that, by the way, and it's 60 gigahertz. Well, you know what, 60 gigahertz gets stuck in air, so it's no good for telecommunications at all. But this is the free exempt license part. Like they had the exempt license for the 2.4 gigahertz, which gives you diabetes. This one is just gas you. All right, so it damages the O2. There you are, it tells you Ofcom's current license exempt. So 60 gigahertz license exempt because it's pretty useless. But so why the industry building equipment at 60 gigahertz? Because it's free. Well, no, it's not free because this is what it does. Dissociates the oxygen molecule. The oxygen atoms then recombine to cause trioxygen. And at 60 gigahertz, believe us, at 50 parts per million, these will kill all biological life. So here you go. Action to be taken. Raise awareness. We are too early, or far too early, and obviously that's why they've pushed the whole hoax, let's say, pretendy virus. But let's pretend